Go on, blink, soldier. Let's see if you're even human. Lucas smirked as he circled the royal guard, his breath visible in the cold London air. Cameras clicked, phones rose, and a growing crowd gathered around Buckingham Palace gates. It was supposed to be a quiet afternoon. Tourists taking pictures, guards standing still. But one man, Lucas Vance, a martial arts world champion, was about to turn tradition into spectacle. He wasn't here to honor the guards. He was here to humiliate one. Lucas was used to crowds, to applause, to being the man everyone watched. But fame had changed him. Once a disciplined fighter, now he chased views, not virtues. And when his friend dared him to get a royal guard to react, Lucas saw it as a challenge, a way to prove he could break anyone's composure. "Just wait," he said into the camera, smirking. Even a statue cracks under pressure. The guard he picked was Thomas Hale, a soldier known among his peers for his composure. For 7 years, Thomas had stood in that position through storms, shouts, and even insults. He'd seen people dance, mock, even bark in his face. But he never flinched. Until now. Lucas stepped closer, too close. He waved his hand near the guard's face, performing playful jabs. The crowd began to whisper, half entertained, half uncomfortable. "Hey, hero," Lucas taunted. "What's the point of standing there if you can't even defend yourself?" Thomas didn't move, but something in his jaw tightened. Lucas grinned wider. Maybe the Queen needs real fighters, not statues in funny hats. A few in the crowd laughed. Others pulled out phones. The tension was thick. Then Lucas made a mistake. He spun on one foot, snapping his leg in a lightning-fast roundhouse kick. Too close, aiming to scare, not hit. But the tip of his shoe grazed Thomas's chin. The crowd gasped. Silence fell. Blood appeared. A thin, red line across the guard's face. Lucas froze. He hadn't meant to connect. But the cameras caught everything. And then, something changed. Thomas turned his head slowly, one single, deliberate motion. The move was subtle but powerful. He locked eyes with Lucas. And for the first time, Lucas saw not a guard, not a man in costume, but a soldier. A man who'd buried friends, who'd stood through gunfire and grief, who'd learned that real strength isn't noise, it's control. When Thomas finally spoke, his voice was low, steady, and cold enough to silence the crowd. "You train to fight for yourself," he said. "We train to stand for something greater." The words hit harder than any kick. The crowd erupted. Not in cheers, but in murmurs of awe. Lucas stepped back, his heart pounding. He wanted to speak, to defend himself, but there was nothing he could say. He had just attacked a symbol of duty, and been defeated without a single punch thrown. Security rushed in, but Thomas raised a gloved hand. Let him go. That simple mercy, that refusal to humiliate in return, was the final blow. The video spread within hours. Clips of the kick, the stare, and the guard's calm words exploded online. News channels ran headlines. Royal Guard keeps composure after assault. Teaches martial artist a lesson in discipline. Lucas's reputation, however, collapsed overnight. Sponsors pulled out. Comments flooded in. You kicked a soldier who stood in silence for your freedom. He showed more strength in restraint than you did in attack. For 2 days, Lucas hid. His pride shattered. His fame turned to mockery. Then, one morning, he stood before a mirror. The reflection of the guard's calm face burned into his memory. He opened his laptop and began typing. The video he posted was nothing like his usual bravado. No music, no filters, no sponsors. Just him staring into the camera. "I mocked a royal guard," he began. "And I thought I was testing his strength. But he was testing mine. And I failed." He took a breath, steady but heavy. "I've spent years learning how to fight. But that day, I learned what it means to stand." He paused, eyes glistening. "Discipline isn't silence, it's purpose. That man stood in the cold, through my insults, through my mistake. And he still chose mercy. I'll never forget that." The video went viral. Again. But this time for a different reason. A week later, at Buckingham Palace, Lucas waited quietly as the guards changed shifts. When Thomas emerged, Lucas stepped forward, not with a camera, but with respect. He extended his hand. "I came to apologize. Not for the cameras. For myself." Thomas studied him, then shook his hand. "Lesson learned?" he asked softly. Lucas smiled faintly. "The hardest one of my life." For the first time, both men shared a brief, genuine nod, soldier to fighter, pride to humility. That moment would never trend. No viral video, no spotlight, just a silent exchange between two men. One who had forgotten what discipline meant, and one who had lived it every day. As Lucas walked away, a gust of wind swept through the courtyard, lifting the flag above the palace. He looked back once more. The guard stood motionless again, calm, focused, untouchable. But this time, Lucas didn't see a statue. He saw a man who'd just changed him forever. And as he disappeared into the London crowd, one thought echoed in his mind. Strength isn't how hard you hit. It's how much you can take without breaking. Sometimes, the people who stand in silence are the ones holding the world together. If the story moved you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to remember what true strength looks like.